Any questions?
How are you managing Amarian's workload, you guys as a team, in 75 touches in 2 games?
Yeah, just, to be honest with you, Larry tries to do that some. We get Bullet in there some to rest him at times, but that game the other night in a tight game, we were, searching for some ways to move the ball at times. He's our guy, so we're gonna make sure our best guys touch the ball, and I think he's built for it. He's proven that over his time, and so I think we got to do some things maybe in certain situations. I think before the half, Larry was trying to get him a break a little bit, and then we got into 1 minute drill there. So I think it's something we continue to try to do, but at the end of the day too, he's our guy.
Did Wake Forest do anything differently after maybe the first quarter or the first 20 minutes of the game?
No. We just, third quarter we didn't execute near as much and really put ourselves in some long yardage situations. I think we had a bust on one of the early runs, and then the fumble obviously was a huge blow for us, and just got out of whack there for I guess about 4 series in a row. And the last 2 weeks before, we kind of avoided those ruts, of putting together a string of 3 or 4 series. So got to do a better job of being more consistent in those areas, and that's something we had really improved on in the last month. So disappointing, but at the end of the day, I thought Wake did a really nice job. Their front guys played really well. I thought those guys create problems. They move around a lot. They are edgy, and sometimes maybe they give up some runs because of it, but they also create some issues for your O-line from a communication standpoint, and those guys played extremely hard. But at the end of the day, when you look back at those 4 series, just some execution things we didn't get done, and I got to find a better way maybe sometimes to help Jacoby and get him in a better rhythm when we get in those ruts, and that's something we're looking to fix for sure.
Chip, along those lines, did you have a follow-up?
Go
for it. Sorry.
On Amari, you never want to run back really leave their feet, but when he hurdles the line,
When I grew up in the 80s,
right,
everybody dove over.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah,
Everybody.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah, Bo and Herschel Walker and Walter Payton. You don't see that much anymore. And he didn't do that either. He landed on his feet, which is impressive. Wake had an idea that they were going to, go down at our legs down there inside the goal, inside the 5-yard line. Really, that was kind of maybe the 6, I think. And so I think he just reacted after he saw it early in the game. I think he just reacted. But what a great play by him. Very, very athletic, and it was good to see. And the thing I liked the most about that, and you guys go back and look at it, it looked like all 5 or everybody on the field was running with him into the end zone. And that's when you got a team that's really laying it all on the line. When an offensive lineman gets up off the ground from going down, and if you go back and look, I think there's 3 or 4 of them that did, and get up and escort him into the end zone, that's pretty impressive. That means those guys are playing really hard.
Chip, what I wanted to ask real quick, just as you're talking about a run and maybe the rhythm going away a little bit, with Jacoby, and I understand he's still in his first handful of starts here.
Yeah.
But what would you like to revisit with him this week that could be a benefit? Because it looked like he wasn't as sharp as he has been. Some of those short hopping some of those throws.
Yeah, I think combination of things. I think after meeting with him yesterday, and he'd be the first to tell you. I don't know when you guys talked to him, but just really being disciplined on the progressions of whatever plays we're running. We had 2 weeks to prepare, and really we're at the same place for 2 weeks. And I think he was disappointed in the fact that he just didn't stay disciplined in where his eyes needed to be pre-snap and post-snap. And at the end of the day, he did play pretty well. We had the fumble, which they bumped into each other, but he still pretty much took care of the ball. And if you look at, I guess, attempts and completions, all that stuff was good, but we need more down the field. We got to improve in that area and give our guys some opportunities. And the other night we weren't doing that. Now at the same time we ran for a bunch of yards. So, it wasn't our best performance, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is we win the game, and whatever that looks like, score-wise or whatever. And I was really proud of the way our guys did that.
Going back to Amarian's run, he also dragged a couple of weight guys into the end zone there. That was his 40th touch.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever marvel, or can you marvel as a coach, especially when you're watching film? 40th touch, and he did all that.
Yeah.
Such an important play.
Yeah, I noticed too, after the game, I was coming out the hallway, and he's coming down the hallway, headed back to the locker room, and it's just like, you look at him, you can't tell he played a game. He's not gassed and dead. I'd be dead. They have to carry me off. But he's one of the most impressive kids I've ever been around. Just no drama, doesn't say a whole lot, just does his job, smile on his face, doesn't complain ever. I mean, it's really amazing, and I think it's going to really help him moving forward. He never gets too high, he never gets too low. He's kind of an even kill guy, and I think it's a great demeanor to have. And he's proven over and over and over that he's capable of carrying whatever load we ask him to do.
When you're calling the game Saturday and those carries, and the carries were piling up pretty quickly, do you ever think to yourself, okay, is there a limit here, or is he so special at this point now? However many carries he's got to get, you're going to call. You don't worry about that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, Larry subs them, and that's what we talk about a sub plan before the game some. But at the end of the day, things pop up and happen that Larry has to make quick decisions. And I mean, I don't say, hey, Amarian's in, I'm gonna run this play. We're going to call the play, and we got confidence in Bullet. We got confidence in some of the other guys as well. We are limited a little bit with Darwin being down from that standpoint, from an experienced guy. But at the end of the day, he's going to be in there for the most part, most of the time. And, I think he's proven he's pretty durable.
I know there's a lot of terminology in football.
Yeah.
With the offensive coordinator, we got to the point where you just say 28 into the mic.
No. That'd be simple though, wouldn't it? Hey, 28 to the right, whatever. 28 to the left, 28 up the middle. No, not really. There is a method to the madness, and sometimes, and it doesn't always look that way. Sometimes, probably, especially when you don't execute a play like you want. But no, it's. We understand who he is, and everybody does, and he's our guy. I mean, every year you build the offense around your best players, and last year was a different team, a different offense, right? A different, not offensive system, but a different style. I think you have to highlight your players and that are your top guys, and he's obviously one of those.
But that is characteristic of the best backs in football. They're better in the fourth quarter than they are in the first quarter.
That's a great point.
I call it freakish.
Yeah, and I think Larry early in the first and second quarter, when Bullet did get in there, I think that was the fault. Hey, let's take some off early, knowing that we're going to need him late. And the game's on the line, you got to have your best players in the game, and I think Larry does a really nice job of doing that.
Chip, they sacked Jacoby 4 times in the first quarter, but only 1 time in the remaining 3 quarters. What changed as far as the protection, or was it just playing good football?
No, one was my fault. We ran the little trick play, and like to see him throw it away. He didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, so it wasn't like a true sack from a drop back standpoint. Another was a scramble that he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage when really he could have probably got it to the back. But the 2 that were big were just not on him. They were off, got beat off the edge, and sometimes that happens, and got to go back and make sure that we tighten that up some. And the one in the red zone was the one that he was upset the most about. But at the end of the day, you're going to have some that we've been pretty good at pass protection, I think, most of the year from the sack standpoint. And he's done a nice job, if you go back and watch him play, of throwing the ball away some. He did. I know we got intentional grounding one time. He's done a nice job, though, of really throwing the ball away at people and saving us some. And unfortunately, the other night, we got caught a couple times with the ball.
Coach Brown said Howard played his best game that he's seen this season. What was it that he was doing that was so aggressive? Yeah, he finished a lot of plays physical. When you look at, I think one of the throws down the field, it was one of the Marion runs probably, where he's sprinting down the field. He and some other guys, but I just noticed him finishing plays, being physical on one of Marion's runs. He gets down there and knocks the guy down late, and I think he's playing more confident now. You got to remember, he's still a young guy. As big as he is, you forget sometimes his age, but he's playing fast and physical, and I just think he's going to get better and better, and really like the physicality he played with on Saturday.
He's one of the linemen that was in the end zone.
He was, he is. Yeah, I think you're right. And then just, when we go through the game with him on Sunday, I always like to pull those plays out. It might be an 8-yard run, it might be a 15-yard run or whatever, or a pass way down the field, and they're all running and chasing. I just think that says a lot about your team. When you have a team that wants to extend themselves and strain and finish, and that's a good characteristic. That doesn't happen all over the country, and that's something I think for us to continue to build on. It wasn't the cleanest game we played, and in some ways there's some ugly plays, but there's a lot of good in that game as well.
Chip, I actually wanted to kind of go off of that. Earlier, Mac was highlighting Paul Billups and Colton Haver, kind of on the same vein of the blocking ability and things like that. So kind of to go off a little bit what you're saying, when it comes to some of those perimeter guys getting in on the blocking, how much you reinforcing that in film and going over it.
Yeah, you know, Paul, I thought stood out from a physicality standpoint at the receiver position. You know, this year we've been really stressing with those guys. We got to be physical. We understand that we have a really good tailback, and you know, he ran for a bunch of yards, but everybody contributes to that. The O-linemen, the tight ends, the running backs. But I thought the two guys that, not that they're the only ones, but two guys that really stood out were Paul and Copenhagen. And he's a veteran. He's always kind of doing the dirty work on the plays that nobody really sees and remembers and don't get a lot of credit for it. So, and I thought Paul did that. And for Paul being a young receiver, kind of like Bullet when he came in, I mentioned that a young running back, how physical he was in pass protection, which is something that doesn't always happen for young running backs. So I love the physicality we're trying to play with. That's something we stressed in the offseason, something we've really pushed for this year and continue to grow in that area. And that's something we want to be known for, that we're a tough physical football team.
We talked about the special team, or we talked about Larry Porter a bit. What goes into the big pummel? Is that something that he kind of relays to you, or is that something?
No, I don't have anything to do with that. I'm just ready when we make it. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do we want to do it? You know, and sudden change, or do we want? You know, I thought it was a great call by him, and great scheme, great setup, and no, I think that's kind of. You know, I think it's been a while since we faked one, from what I hear. So it probably caught him off guard a little bit, and I think the look was right for it. You know, in those things, when even when I was a head coach and having to sometimes make those decisions, you know, if the look's right and they worked it and shown it, and hey, let it rip, and let's see what happens. I think that was the thought behind that.
Chip, the possession down there on the goal line that just turned into a disaster early on, like. What the heck went wrong there? Other than it looked like Trey Green got beat twice off the edge.
Yeah.
Like what went wrong there? And as you went back and looked at it, were you just like,
so
that was not good?
So we understood on first and second down they were going to be basically cover zero. So the thought was, let's fake a run that we've run for the last 2 weeks and try to hit the crossers, which were open. But you know, sometimes you get beat in protection. And other than those two snaps, I thought Trey played really well. But those two snaps show up, and you know, that's something that happens sometimes at every level. But you know, I think you know you get beat, and then it's third down and long. Okay, what do you do now? Do you want to throw it in the end zone, or do you want to make sure you're in position to kick a field goal? And that's kind of what we did. We had a little shallow cross still going, and just got beat. Didn't do it. But you know, at the end of the day, we snapped the ball I think 80 times, something like that. Those are 2 plays, and there's the 2 that showed up for sure, but he played pretty well the others.
Was he supposed to have help Was he supposed to have help over there?
No, it's play action. Yeah, play action, faking a run.
Coach, you're getting back on the road this weekend at Boston College. What have you seen from their defense?
Physical bunch. Very, very multiple. Do a lot of things. I think that defensive coordinator, you can tell, he spent a lot of time in the NFL. They're gonna have a plan each and every week that maybe look a little different based on who they're playing. The players play extremely hard. Again, I mentioned they're physical, they're competitive, play fast. I mean, it's going to be a test for us for sure, and you know, especially in the trenches. I think that most all games, you know, this has got to be won in the trenches, and we're going to have to play really well to really have a chance to win.
A lot of them are in success. You know, they came 20 guards.
Yeah.
We know about Willie, but what does it say about Austin and Aiden, especially now they've consistently had time together for a while?
Yeah, I think they're getting more comfortable. I mean, we've played 10 games now, and so Aiden has played a bunch of them. I know he's hurt a little bit, but I mean, those freshmen, you ask them to grow up fast, you know, and you kind of look at them like, hey, you're not a freshman anymore. You've got 10 games under your belt, and I think you see him flashes of why he's going to be really special here. And then there's every now and then where he gets out of position or something. But really pleased with his progress. Austin as well, who hadn't played a whole bunch either, and you know, those guys in the middle need to play well. You know, it's like baseball. You're strong up the middle, you're going to have a good team. Same thing in football, and I think those guys are improving.
Willie said Aiden's nickname on the team is Baby Hulk. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't. I hadn't heard that. It wouldn't surprise me because when he gets his hands on you, he's pretty good. Physical, you know, to be advanced as he is physically as a freshman for an O-lineman, I think is pretty impressive. And he'll tell you he's got a lot of things to clean up, but really love his demeanor and love the way he approaches every day. Everybody good? Good. All right. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Chip.